Hello there. Now today on the podcast I've got Matt Nelson, aka SLIPMATT, and I have a really good chat with him about his musical journey from the rave scene back in the 80s to him cracking the global market with SL2 on a Ragga Tip and a few other hits as well. We also touch on his Ibiza experiences, what Ibiza means to him, and also talking about his Ibiza holiday week, which is called Slip Back in Time. He was telling me all about that, which was really interesting. Anyway, really great to speak to Matt. He's a top lad, proper Essex geezer, Spurs fan as well, so can't have everything, can he? But here's today's podcast, My Ibiza Journey, with Matt Nelson, aka SLIPMATT. Hope you enjoy it.
You're listening to the Man in Sanan podcast, direct from Ibiza.
Good morning. Now we've got a new podcast, new year, new podcast. I've got in front of me a very famous DJ, can we say that?
Not very famous, but
Matt Nelson, aka SLIPMATT. Good morning.
yeah, good morning to you.
How are you, mate?
Martin, yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Very well, actually. Yeah.
Now it's winter in Ibiza.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Do you know what? I actually brought shorts with me in that as well. So stupid.
Have you been in January before?
Couple of times, yeah.
Yeah,
couple of times.
It's pretty. As you can see outside the window, it's pretty windy today, mate, isn't it?
It's a bit chilly this morning. I turned up on Monday afternoon.
Yeah.
Got straight to the villa, put my shorts on. Everyone's like, "What are you doing?"
Exactly. You can tell the tourists this time of year. So, Matt, this is a podcast called My Ibiza Journey, and I know you've been a long time lover of Ibiza, haven't you?
Yeah, massively.
When was your first time here?
I was quite late, actually. 1994
Right.
was my first trip over.
Yeah.
And I went and played at what was Chaos.
Yeah.
Back in the day. It was Star Club originally. And then when I got there, it was Chaos.
Yeah.
Before it turned into Eden.
It was Chaos as well, wasn't it?
It was, not half.
Was it little Juanito the boss at the time, wasn't it? Yeah. And Stuart would have been on the door, I think.
I can't remember, actually. It was Marco Giovanni that booked me.
Marco, yeah.
It was Marco and then Paul.
Yeah.
Paul, I can't remember. It killed me. It killed me now.
Yeah.
Paul, I can't remember his surname now, but they were the two sort of resident DJs
Yeah.
and looking after like the roster, you know.
What was your first impressions of Ibiza when you got here? Was that the first time you ever came to Ibiza?
First time I ever
94?
came,
And
yeah.
what age were you in 1994?
94, I would have been, I was quite an oldie then, really, for then.
Yeah.
So I would have been 27.
Yeah. So you left it late, didn't you?
I did.
Because a lot of people come as teenagers, don't they?
Yeah, I've done a lot of travelling. You know, obviously I was travelling with SL2 and that, doing stuff. So we've been to Greece, you know, back in sort of, you know, a couple of years before that, and lots of other places.
Yeah.
But yeah, for some reason, didn't manage to get to Ibiza. In fact, Liam and a lot of my other mates came over in, I think it was 1990, when things were just sort of really hotting up over here.
It surprises me because you were in that kind of era where I would have thought you'd been knocking on the door of Ibiza.
Yeah, I mean, I started in '89
Yeah.
with Acid House and that sort
Acid
of really
House.
real early sort of sounds. Yeah, and
There's tears all over the world now when we mention Acid House. Did you have that? You had the haircut as well, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The
the
long
whole
curtains.
So all of my mates were in that sort of culture as well. I think I was probably just too busy working and stuff.
Yeah.
And they came over for a month in 1990 and then met up with Tommy Mac, Black and White, and I think a couple of them ended up playing at Summum.
Yeah.
And
it's funny how often Tommy Mac, Alan Warman get mentioned every time we mention that era because they were very important, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were bringing a lot of groups over, a lot of different different DJs. Listen, let's go back a bit, Matt, because I want a bit of background if I can. Where are you from originally?
I was born in Loughton in Essex.
Right.
So my
proper Essex geezer.
Proper Essex boy, yeah. My family are all from Walthamstow, both sides of my family.
Yeah.
My dad was part of the biggest family in Walthamstow, I think in 1949, I think it was. There was 17 of them.
Right.
Living in a 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom house. Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, mum and dad's side both from Walthamstow, and they moved out to Loughton I think a year before I was born. I was born there, lived there for 18 years.
And how would you kind of describe your upbringing?
Very working class, but
mum and dad still together all the way through.
Yeah, they're
still happy family.
They're still together. Both going to be 90 this year.
Wow.
Yep, both together. Both doing all right as well.
Wow.
I'd say a very loving upbringing.
Yeah.
but very working class as well. You know, we didn't have loads of money, but my mum and dad did lots and lots for us, and to make sure that we were happy. So, very little arguments in the house. And
what age are you now, mate? If you don't mind.
57.
57, right? So you're a couple of years older than me. So you grew up in the late 70s, early 80s, really, didn't you? Yeah.
Yes, so 67, teenage through the 70s.
Very different times, mate, weren't they? Than that?
Very. Mind you, flares are coming back this year.
Good.
I noticed.
Good. My wardrobe's going to be relevant again, isn't it? So when you left school, what did you do for a job when you left?
Yeah, so I left at 16 when I got my ear pierced, day I left school and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
My older brother, Paul, was running a courier service for sort of servicing like the estate agents sort of businesses and things like that. So I got myself a moped and then started delivering
Central London.
No, all about Loughton actually.
Really?
Loughton, Buckerstill, all around that way. And then we used to do stuff up to London as well from there. Yeah.
When did you first get into music? Because obviously your life has been defined by music. When did you actually first get into the scene, into the music?
I mean, I bought my first record when I was 4,
right?
Which is quite mad. Out of my own pocket money.
Good lad.
I think I was. My mum always says I was playing records when I was 18 months old. So we go back to the actual 60s then. When I was 18 months, and we had one of those mono box record players with a lid, and I used to. Mum, music, or
what was your first record?
Something like that. It was Cloda Rogers, Jack in a Box.
Wow,
how embarrassing is that?
Wow, no, it's all right,
but I think it was the number 1 Eurovision.
Yeah,
something like that.
So when did you? So it was 89, really, when things really cracked off for you, wasn't it?
So
music wise,
so through school and that, I was always absolutely fascinated with music.
Yeah.
My dad had managed to get a reel-to-reel from work. He was giving it actually for a gift from work. I think it had a scratch on it or something, and they couldn't sell it. And with that, I could record something onto one track and then record something else onto another track. So I was mixing different sounds together at, sort of 10, 11 years old.
Wow, so it really got you early.
Really early, yeah. I was into a lot of the dance music, sort of from 79, was into like the Selector specials, then UB40. Got into a lot of soul music after that.
Yeah.
And then really from the soul music, really sort of followed that underground and US sort of sound, dance music sound, which sort of evolved right the way through, into sort of soul, go, hip hop. Eventually into house.
It all ends up there, doesn't it? Eventually,
86 was house. Yeah.
When did you get your first decks where you actually started to be a true DJ? How old were you?
I think it was 88, which was quite early.
Right.
But I was 21.
Yeah, I mean, you're quite late. I mean, a lot of these kids now are doing it at 14, 15, aren't they? Obviously, with the technology today. But you're actually quite a late developer, really. I get 21, 22.
Couple of years later than a lot of people. Yeah.
So join the dots for me. School, DJ, decks in 88. Your brother was a promoter, wasn't he?
So my brother Paul,
because he had a massive.
He started Rain Dance.
Yeah,
so he's very very entrepreneurial.
Rain Dance was. What was
Rain Dance was the first legal rave,
right? Gotcha.
In the UK.
Cool.
So they started off illegal in 89.
Yeah,
and then by 90 they did another party. I think that was end of 89 as well. First one was September 89. I'm sure they did a second one. I think it was November 89, and it got shut down. Right. I was actually on the decks at the time. Me and Lime were on the decks at the time when it got shut. I was like, shit. And then from there, my brother went and basically got a license.
Right, okay.
From the council, worked his magic, and they become the first legal sort of outdoor rave.
How did Paul get into the rave scene? Because he kind of dragged you along with him, did he? Or were you always knocking on the door?
I was always the sort of more DJ sort of, but we were out clubbing together. So I was out clubbing very early.
What's the difference in age?
He's 3.5 years older than me.
Right. Okay.
So I was actually 14 when we used to go to Oscars in Clacton.
Yeah.
Not Oscars in Clacton. Oscars in Newbury Park. Talked about Clacton last night. and a couple of other little clubs. I actually managed to get in at 14. Didn't always get in everywhere, but and then from then on, so I was clubbing pretty much, every weekend from then.
The clubs, were you kind of entranced with the music when you went in? Were you always staring at the DJ? Was that like, I want to be that guy?
I was up there looking at the DJ.
Right, yeah.
So
geek, DJ
very,
geek.
Very, very. And so he was very much into the clubbing.
Yeah.
But then I was the DJ sort of influence with that. And being sort of very entrepreneurial, he was like, oh, right, okay, so lots of raves going on at the moment. It was like the in thing, 88, 89, people putting on raves, people making lots of money out of it, whether it was illegal or not. And then probably partly listening to me playing my music sort of all day, every day, DJing, mixing, just bringing that whole culture into the house.
Yeah.
He went for it. He was right. At that point, he was working as a cab driver. I think he had some sort of partnership with the firm, and he was taking another fella called Ray Spence up to Camden Lock, a place called HQ, and he was the promotions manager up there. So he was taking him up there every week and then talking to him. Oh, right, parties, raves, blah, blah, blah. The fella that lived worked next to the cab office in a cafe, it was a cafe next door. He was managing the site where the rain dances were, which is Jenkins Lane up in Barking.
Right, okay.
It was like a football ground with like a clubhouse thing on it and stuff.
What were they like, those raves? What were they like?
Amazing.
Were they?
Amazing,
how many people?
The first couple, I think they probably had 1,500.
Right.
I think probably other people would tell you a lot more. You know, but at one point, I think they got up to about 5,000.
Right.
In the big top. Yeah.
Ecstasy, was that play a major part in that era? Would you say
it was in the era?
and in that era,
not for me.
No, but I mean, just generally because the music and the drugs kind of fused together, didn't they?
Yeah, massively. Yeah. I mean, the culture. There's a definite sort of start and finish, really. Again, going back to the clubbing, we were going up to places like Ritzy and all these sort of wearing sort of painting shoes and silky shirts.
Painting shoes. Yeah. Hey, we all had a pair of those, didn't we?
And then 88, 89 come along, and that just boom, it just changed. It was a real drinky sort of culture, quite violent sometimes.
I always think 89, because I know you.
Maybe
89. I always think that was a really important year because you had like the fusion of the rave scene, you had the ecstasy scene as well. Ibiza's changing as well, because we'll come on to Ibiza very shortly. Ibiza's really changing. It's gone from like soul, and I had a lot of people on the podcast say it's gone from soul to kind of like rave or acid house, as it was, 87, 88 acid house as well. So tell me about Lime and meeting him, and how did that all happen?
We were in school together.
Really?
So we were just schoolmates, and we were the sort of us two in class. We sort of became good friends over the years because of music, really. Yeah. He was very much into his dance music as well. He was a bit more into the electro side of things. To me, again, quite geeky with it. Loved the DJing side of things. We both both ended up going out and getting gigs in bars, sort of local
together,
bars
or
and stuff.
Or were you separate this time?
Sometimes together.
Yeah.
But John went off and got some gigs on.
What was the dynamic between the two? Did you play similar music, or did you play different music? And did you go back to back, or what was it?
Very similar. Yeah, really. Yeah, very. So
a bit of a comfort blanket for each other, were you?
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
but it's always easier when you do it with a mate as well, isn't it?
We were both into the whole DMC thing and the mixing and stuff. We spent a lot of time together and sort of found our sort of craft together, really. Yeah.
And SL2, I mean, you were SLIPMATT and Lime to start with, or did you start as SL2?
No, we SLIPMATT and Lime to start with. Obviously, SLIPMATT, Lime, SL.
Where did SLIPMATT come from, by the way?
I had to come up with a DJ name. I can't even remember why now. It would have been for, I don't know, maybe Pirate Radio or something. And I actually had these SLIPMATTs, and it said DJ SLIPMATT on there.
Right.
I thought, oh, right, Matt. Oh, that'll do. That'll do, yeah. Same, SL2, SLIPMATT, Lime, two of us. It's like, just simple.
When did it go big for you? Because what was the year when it all cracked off, and how did you get to that position?
I think we started, like I say, my fascination with trying to make music. We'd actually met a couple of other fellas up at Ritzy, actually, a couple of rappers.
Yeah.
And they ended up coming around the house, and we was doing some recording, just fiddling about with stuff, trying to make some sort of hip hop housey stuff. We'd bought a Roland 505 drum machine just to piss about on. And eventually we found ourselves in the studio. It was like, right, okay, we've got these tracks together. I think it might have even been late 88.
Right.
Still trying to think of that in my head. It's so long ago. But we come up with a track, and that come out early 89.
Okay. What was that called?
Which is why I think we probably started in 88.
What was it called, mate?
Do That Dance.
Right, okay.
SL2.
Did you conceive it yourself? You wrote it yourself? You recorded it yourself?
We sampled loads of stuff. We sampled an acid line off an old Armando track.
Yeah.
We sampled some Todd Terry beats.
Yeah.
Just the actual drum sounds, and then programmed them ourselves. Very similar. And put it together, produced it ourselves. Took it to the studio and got it engineered.
Didn't you start your own record label as well?
We did. So that came out in 89.
How did it do?
Never got paid.
Obviously.
It did all right. Apparently it sold a few thousand tunes, which was all right.
Had you got a following by this time, Matt? Or?
Not really. We were running our own pirate station, Raw FM. So we had a few listeners on there, but no, nothing big. Nothing big. But no, the tune did all right. Yeah, and we never got paid, and we tried to get a statement and this, that, and it was like, oh, right, sod that. It just ain't going to happen. So we made another tune, obviously. Yeah. And just thought, we looked around and found a way to press it ourselves.
Got it.
Did some white labels.
White labels, yeah. Gave it out.
Yeah.
When was the big break for you guys?
So the big break was 91.
Yeah, so 2 years later, so you were grafting for 2 years together. What gigs?
Yeah, so
recording.
So Rain Dance happened for me in, as I said, September 89.
Yeah.
So from that point, there were regular rain dances going on, and for me, more than John, my heart was more in the DJing than him anyway. But for me, I then started getting other gigs off the back of that.
Yeah.
So by the time we got round to sort of mid 91, I was quite a busy DJ. And I was working as well. I was an electrician by that time.
Wow. Yeah. Getting paid for DJing, decent money or?
It was all right, yeah.
Pocket money?
150 quid here, and, couple 100 quid here and there.
But it's a labour of love for you, I presume, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, back then, that was decent money, all cash. It was good.
Of course not.
Yeah.
So, obviously, the massive tune was on a Ragga Tip. Yeah.
Well, the first big one was 91, which DJs Take Control.
Right, okay.
Which we made and we put out on a promo mid 91, summer 91.
Yeah.
And it blew up.
Right.
It went absolutely mental. We got signed. We had loads of record labels on us. I think about eight at one point. We chose to go with XL, which was a good choice.
They were very...
Prodigy as well. On
but they were quite edgy at the time, weren't they, XL?
Very much so.
Yeah,
they were a London
edgy.
label as well, so we related to them a bit more than some of the others. Warp was one of the other ones, which was a great label. Yeah. But they were up in Leeds. Although they were good, we just thought, no, we should stick...
When you sign with a label, what's the dynamics of that? Do you have to sign them for X amount of time, or what was it?
We signed options for 4 EPs.
Right.
Which we only actually did 3 of them, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
But that it took till I think October to get released. And boof, straight in. Straight in the top.
Were you gagging at the bit for it to be released? Were you impatient? Were you impatient at the time?
Very much so. Yeah. It was like, why is it taking so long?
Yeah. Did they know what they were doing?
Exactly.
Did they know?
Totally. Yeah, so good.
And what was the dynamic?
So
what was the dynamic from you being like just normal DJs to going into a big record label? What was a change of?
I mean, they were sort of independent as well, but they were just doing big things. But no, they were great. They were really on our side with everything. Gave us loads of. It wasn't right. You're doing this, you're doing that. It was all very much a sort of collaboration. Yeah, of what we wanted to do together as well, but they knew their stuff. They still do. But.
And tell me about that went big. Was it called Don't
DJs Take Control?
DJs Take Control.
We ended up on Top of the Pops.
Did you go on Top of the Pops on the one? Right. Okay. Yeah. Now you're the third person I've had on the podcast who's been on Top of the Pops. Right. So tell me about your Top of the Pops experience.
Oh, brilliant. I mean, from sitting there from every Thursday night.
I mean, for people of our age, Top of the Pops is massive, isn't it?
Yeah, cup of tea, cup of biscuit, sit down and watch half hour of the latest music. It was even though it was poppy, but it was good. But yeah, it's fantastic to actually be propelled from pretty much sort of normal, averagey sort of existence, culturally and stuff. But so then suddenly being on telly and seeing,
did you feel like you made it?
And all this.
You feel like you made it?
Yeah, sort of. It was a bit surreal. It was like
it's recorded in the daytime as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's not like you see on the TV, isn't it? Yeah. So it's What did you do? I suppose there was no words. Was there any words to that song, or was it
not DJ's Take Control?
Was it just you two standing there?
Just us. We had a couple of dancers with us. JJ MC, just sort of saying a few bits to give it a bit of life.
I'm going to post a link on this podcast on YouTube. I'm sure it's there.
I've got the Top of the Pops recordings on my YouTube.
Yeah, I know. So I'll post it on your one, mate. So we'll have a look at it because and that was 91?
So it was late 91.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Ragga Tip was a follow up to that, which
because that went global, didn't
massive,
it?
Yeah.
Did you make any money from your first record or not? I'm not asking. I don't know figures, but did you feel like actually I'm actually getting paid for what I do here?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were doing all right by that time with the DJ and stuff and that as well. But yeah, we did make money. It's not something that comes quick. You wait 6 months for your royalties and stuff. But we were also going out doing quite a few PAs.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool, yeah.
So a little story from me. In 1992, when I was a holiday rep over here in Ibiza, we used to DJ. So this just shows you how long ago. So the DJs, we used to go into the bars and used to take over the decks. I mean, the DJs at the time were horrified because we weren't very good, but we put the song on and
we brought a lot of people in there.
Yeah, we did. We were bringing exactly, mate. Exactly. Well, you know the dynamic, don't you? Yeah. We brought all the people in, so we kind of did what we wanted to do. So I always remember DJing in nightlife. Nightlife at the bottom of the West End.
I spent many a night in there
and a morning. I remember DJing in nightlife and putting on a Ragga Tip, and it was a one tune where everyone just went absolutely mental, didn't they? Yeah. And I always remember the XL on the disc as well, and it's like and because for me personally, that's a massive tune in my Ibiza experience. So tell me through the dynamic. Who wrote that song? How did you record it? And who came up with the concept?
I mean, both of us. I was very much into reggae. I didn't really mention the reggae thing actually. So from about 14, I found reggae. I found David Rodigan on Capital Radio.
Yeah.
I've been introduced to reggae through pop music and stuff, but I found UB40, but then got into the heavier stuff very, very quickly.
Well, UB40 were a very good kind of segue into the rest of it, weren't they?
Yeah.
If you like that style of music, you then found the rest, didn't you?
Yeah. So obviously Ragga Tip is heavily reggae influenced. So it was meant to be a B-side. So the first track, DJ's Take Control, it had that breakbeaty sound, but it was all the music in it was very housey.
Yeah.
The follow-up, we made a track called Changing Tracks again, which was another big sort of housey sample. Yeah. And then we Why My Brain, which was before Ragga Tip, another very reggae orientated one, and that was the B-side of DJ's Take Control. So then we thought, right, we'll do another reggae style track for the flip side of this new one. Me and John in his bedroom on a sampler and an Atari computer.
Really?
Very, very simple stuff. We actually looked around. We was looking for a certain type of reggae track to sample. I was into Yellow Man at the time, and there was lots of stuff going on, like hey, all this sort of stuff on reggae. And we found Walk and Skank, Just Screechy Walk and Skank, which was A by Day. It was like, right, that's it. That's the closest we're going to get to. That's the closest we're going to get to what we've got in our heads, and it just worked.
Did you know straight away? I mean, did you know straight away when you laid that track that it was actually a banger?
We did it. We spent the day on it. Then I think we went back and did another half day, and in the bedroom.
Yeah,
and then took it to. We was using a studio up in Whetstone, up in North London, to then go and mix down and finish.
Yeah,
finished it off. Kept listening to it, and we were like, and then John said, Matt, he goes, I think this should be the A side. He said, I think we've got to speak to the label. And I was like, yeah, do you know what? I think you're right.
It's very unique.
so
It's a very
catchy.
unique song, isn't it?
is,
It's
yeah.
very. I mean, you're still dining out on it to this day, mate, aren't you?
Yeah.
See that little rabbit punch there, mate. No, but it's still a very unique tune, isn't it? To this day, I don't think I've ever really heard anything that's similar to that. You know,
No,
on a dance theme, or a house theme
which
as well.
made it so special.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it was very, very different.
And what happened when that went global? I mean, it was all over Europe, wasn't it? What happened to your life then?
We did make some decent money on it, not life-changing money.
But did you get booked to gigs and did you go around the world?
Loads, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my diary was absolutely chocker.
Yeah.
So playing everywhere, loads of PAs, and we ended up splitting. John was going off doing the PAs because I was so busy DJing as well, and we sort of made the most of it.
Yeah. Because you split the year after, didn't you? 90, was it 93 you split?
we
What
never,
happened?
we never split.
Right.
We never
What
split.
happened?
Me and John are still best mates, and we always have been. And we've been doing shows all the way through. Basically, the scene changed. So by the end of '92, we then released our third EP with XL, which was a remix of Wayne My Brain, track I mentioned before, and it went. I think we just nipped in the top 30. I think.
Yeah.
But everything was changing. I don't know if you remember, but the rave scene went from all sort of quite hard and hands in the air to then going through this dark, sort of dark, gloomy sort of era, and everything was like ooh, dark and
not your scene at all.
And then that, and then into jungle and stuff as well.
Yeah. How did you stay ahead of the curve? How did you stay ahead of the curve?
It was good. I loved the music. I carried on sort of with what was going on.
Yeah,
just carried on playing. I was playing that sort of stuff as well as playing the hardcore stuff as well. But the charts had changed.
Yeah,
the commercial side of things had changed, and we weren't.
We
weren't, and we never have been commercial producers. We're not pop music producers.
So basically, it was a time and a place where you just happened to be at that time and right place.
Yeah.
Hear it a lot, don't you? And were you unwilling to change, or it just wasn't your gig?
No, we did offer them something else, but it was just far too underground for them, and we knew it.
Do you feel that you missed? Do you feel like you missed an opportunity there?
Part of me looks back and thinks, well, maybe we should have got a business heads on, which I always thought, I wish I'd learned a lot more about business back, through the 90s.
We too hard-headed.
I mean, now, knowing what I know now, we could have got someone else in to help us produce another track and go, right, okay, we need something that's going to work with that. And they would have
got talent and then just rode on the back of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But from a personal point of view, we weren't interested in pop music, and I suppose we were earning all right.
Let's get to Ibiza. So 94, you came to Ibiza. What was your first gig over here?
So
it was a Chaos. What was it?
Chaos. Yeah, it was quite a hardcore thing actually.
Was it?
It was quite. I think pretty much sort of happy hardcore.
What was it?
Yeah.
And what was the crowd like?
Can't really remember too much, but it was pretty crazy in there.
Was it?
Yeah.
It had that year. That had those 2 years where it had the towers.
Layout.
Didn't have the 4 towers around it, didn't it?
Totally different layout.
Yeah.
It's hard to remember. I remember the DJ box being quite small.
Yeah.
And sort of set down.
Well, DJs weren't as prominent in those days, were they? I mean, now they're front and center. In those days, it was about different things.
Yeah.
What was I always ask this question. When you first get to Ibiza, what were your first impressions of the island? 27, aren't you? 27, because you're a little bit older. I mean, you're not a stupid teenager when you come over going, what was your first...
I've been.
Well, we won't go too much into that, but what was your first impressions of the island when you got here?
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah.
It was great, yeah.
Do you have a professional head on, or do you have a little party head on?
Always have a professional head on until after the gig, I might have a little play as well, but yeah, and it was probably just a bit of an in and out as well. I really got going with the Ibiza thing when I started working with 1830s, to be honest. Yeah, doing the Sundance thing. That's when it became the Sundance thing fun.
The Sundance was amazing because it was before its time, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, it was a daytime clubbing experience. Yeah, and people didn't want that in those days. But look at them now; everyone wants it now. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying they didn't want it, but it was just a bit too. I think it was too early. I mean, Sundance at the time was a great concept. Yeah. And when you looked at Zoo Project, 10, 12 years later, who absolutely smashed it out of the park and said, well, we were doing that 10, 15 years ago, Yeah.
I think it was 96, I think.
Was it really?
The first one with Eddie Locke.
Yeah.
And obviously John Davis.
Yeah, John.
The priest.
Trying to get him on the podcast, but he's resisting at the moment.
Really? Yeah.
What, when you got into bed with the tour operators, you were coming back and forth all the time, weren't you, as well?
Yeah.
What was the vibe like in the island?
Yeah, good. Very sort of, I just felt a lot freer than it is now, you know.
It's very different to today, isn't it?
Very sort of laid back during the day.
Yeah.
You know, people just sort of chilling out. I don't know.
Where did you hang out?
Probably around at places like Kenya.
Yeah. With Tony and
Netto.
It was Crankle. Yeah. Kenya was a great place at the time, wasn't
Kenya
it?
was good.
Yeah. Did you ever go to the Garlands parties there? They were daytime parties as well.
I would have done, yeah.
Yeah.
I would have done.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
And then it ended up at Eden, didn't it?
Yeah. But they were the original daytime parties as well. So we're talking mid-90s. I mean, just describe what Ibiza was like in the mid-90s for someone coming over to DJ.
Yeah, like I was saying, it was just very sort of laid back. We used to sort of float around, around to the different hotels, and just, you know, drinks were a lot cheaper. a lot cheaper. It seemed just a lot, say laid back, not so much just
It was very nighttime or centric, wasn't it? Because there was not a lot to do in the daytime, was there?
Yeah, so everyone was just laying about.
Yeah, I always remember like it
wasn't dressy. I think that's the thing. It was just like, you know, swimming shorts, bikinis.
Yeah,
just not pretentious at all. And,
I think people in the daytime were just refueling for the nighttime, weren't they?
Yeah. Everyone's just so laid back and just carefree. I think is another good way of describing it. Very, very carefree.
Now, bear in mind, that's nearly 30 years ago, Matt.
Mad, isn't it?
It's mad, isn't it? No, 96 was nearly 29 years ago, wasn't it? It's like mad, isn't it? It's like, yeah. Ibiza nowadays, what's your happy place on the island? Where do you like to go?
I've got my good friend Phil Walker.
Phil Walker.
Here, so
Phil?
Big Phil and Claude, not so big anymore.
No, he's lost a lot of weight, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's done well. Yeah, so he's my good friend over here, and I go and stay with him.
Yeah,
most of the time when I pop over, which is really, really nice.
Where'd you hang out now? Is it a restaurant? Is it a bar? Is it a beach? What's your favourite place at the moment?
To be honest with you, we just sort of dart about all over the place, really.
Yeah.
There's no real one place. I'm not really, we'll pop down to O Beach and places like that.
Yeah. What do you think of the daytime?
It's not really my thing, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I get it.
You're 30 years too old, mate. That's why.
I'm too old for it. Yeah, I'm.
Hanging on by our fingertips, pal, aren't we? Hanging on.
I like going around, popping into Seabow and seeing Julian and
seeing
my mates and all that stuff.
It's great, isn't it?
I saw you in there last time.
Yeah, it's an age thing, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
And
I like finding a nice restaurant and stuff. But we come over and do our event, obviously, which we'll probably speak about.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Yeah. What's your favourite restaurant on the island? Where'd you eat?
It was always Sakapaya.
Yeah.
I've not been up there since it's been taken over.
Mambo Group have got it now.
Yeah.
It's actually very good. I went in there in the summer. Very, very good. Yeah. Service is great. And it's still a wow as you go in there as well.
There's behind just past the San Remo, which is where we stay sometimes. There's a nice one on the beach there.
What's it called?
Was it Pepe from?
Yeah. I forgot. He's going to kill me. Yeah, Pepe's there. It's all been redone out as well. It's beautiful now.
Absolutely
as well.
Lovely. Right on the coast.
And for nothing as well, by the way. Cheap. Well, not cheap, but Ibiza cheap as well. Yeah.
It is really good.
I'm going to have to edit the name in there because I can't remember it as well. So it's an age thing as well, isn't it? Matt, I mean, you've been coming to Ibiza for over 30 years now. When was the moment where Ibiza clicked for you and you're like, this is, because I know you're a big Ibiza lover, aren't you?
Yeah.
And it's, I think it's played an important part in your kind of
massively,
evolution of music.
Massively.
Yeah.
I've been over literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times.
Yeah. When was the moment?
At one point, I was coming over twice a week.
Really?
Because I've always been busy at home.
Yeah.
I think I was coming over doing Paradise on a Sunday and then coming back and doing Play 2 or something like during the week and then going back home for the weekend and then
Paradise on a Sunday. Would that be UFO?
We did a thing called Deja Vu there.
Deja Vu, right? Okay.
Yeah.
What was it? I mean, Paradise is probably the most undervalued club in the world, in my opinion. What's it like to play there, Paradise?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I've been playing there right up to now. We do our gigs in there as well. Yeah. No, it's still really, really good.
Yeah.
Sound systems.
It's still
sound system's decent.
It's still an amazing club, isn't it? This Paradise.
Pepe doesn't seem to be around as much, so the sound system's nice and loud.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Was there one moment where the penny dropped and you think, oh, I like this place?
I think it was probably around that Sundance time. It caught me early.
Yeah,
it caught me early because I think '96. I did probably 2 or 3 gigs there.
Yeah,
and they liked what I was doing. I got on really well with Eddie and John and stuff. Yeah. They seemed to like what I was doing. And then '97 come over a few more times, and then it was just like, right, when can I come over again?
Yeah.
And I'd just do anything I could to get over and then stay over as long as I could. And it just.
Do you still speak to Eddie?
Older me. Yeah, I do actually.
How's he getting on with his artwork?
Not loads and loads, but I do speak to him. Yeah, I think he's doing really well. He's on a TV program.
I saw that. Yeah. No, he looks like he's doing really well. He's got a real niche in the market there, hasn't he?
He's backwards and forwards from LA doing all sorts of art deals and that. I'm sure he's doing very, very well.
As you do. What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you here? Because I mean, Ibiza's, listen, it can spit you out as well, can't you, Ibiza, if you're not careful?
Yeah.
We're thinking back. What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you over here? I don't like to focus on the negatives, but it's not all bed of roses, is it?
I don't think there's been anything that bad. Had a bit of a bad business experience,
right,
when we were starting off our event.
Yeah,
which just
well, that's Ibiza for you, isn't it? Yeah.
Stuff.
Was that naivety, or was that naivety for you? Or
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. Probably. Yeah.
For people who start business in Ibiza, it can be a real steep learning curve, can't it?
Yeah.
Did you learn?
Most definitely. Oh, we learned. Yeah. We learned the hard way as well with some of it, but it's all come good.
Yeah. Well, if you keep chipping,
always ups and downs. Yeah.
Yeah. If you keep chipping, I'm always I love Ibiza, but I'm always. It's not a bed of roses all the time. I think people think it's paradise. It can be, but it can also be a difficult place to do business, can't it?
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard getting off the island sometimes as well.
Especially when you keep missing
flights.
A few
flights every time.
I missed a few as well, mate. If you had to sum up the island in one sentence, what would it be, or one word? What would it be?
I always say home from home.
Really?
Yeah, it become my home from home.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, you've got good friends over here now as well, haven't you?
That's the thing. Yeah. And in your sort of heyday, you keep in touch with those friends, didn't you? For, pretty much forever.
How is now you obviously you like me in our 50s or later on in our 50s. How is your view? So when you first came here, you're 27. Now you're slightly older. How's your view changed? From 96 or 94 to 2025. How what's the arc that you've had? How you view Ibiza
over here? Yeah. I mean, the culture's changed loads. We all know that. It's pretty obvious, but it's sort of like what can you do? It's always nice looking back at the old days. You look back at the old days and you don't remember any of the problems or the sort of slight downsides of it.
Yeah. You look at it through rose-tinted glasses, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm sure there's a lot of better stuff now than there was then in some ways, but it was much of an easier life back then over here, and it's become very expensive. It's been becoming expensive for a long time, but I think that's sort of coming with the culture. It's becoming the culture to spend money and show off what you got. Whereas like I was saying, during the day in Ibiza back in the 90s, it wasn't. It was so laid back. Yeah, laid back. It wasn't. No one was really showing off.
Yeah, social media. There you go. Let's trace it back to social media.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always wary, Matt, to say it was better in my day, better in their day, because listen, every year is different, isn't it?
Exactly.
So, I think a friend of mine said to me the other day, said, "Oh, it was so much better in the 80s." I was like, "Well, I'm not sure it was actually." I mean,
no rose tinted glasses,
no air conditioning, one of the most dangerous roads in the world. Yeah. It was. I don't know. Listen, I think every year is different, isn't it?
And we're still here.
Chipping away, mate.
In the pudding.
Chipping away. What do you make of the VIP culture?
Yeah, again, it's not really me. It's always nice to. Oh yeah, I've got a bit of VIP down there. Lovely.
Yeah. I will see you in the VIP at Ocean Beach, mate. Actually,
Drinks are normally dear in the VIP.
They are as well. It's a true story, that, isn't it? Yeah, it's a true story.
But I'm not. In general, I'm not a show off. I'm not. I don't need that. It's very nice to get a bit of nice treatment.
Yeah,
I'll never be against that. But it's not for a persona point of view.
Do you feel that that attitude has actually held you back?
That's an interesting question. Yeah.
Because you're super laid back, aren't you?
Possibly.
Always. And you're a nice guy.
I'm
You're genuinely a nice guy.
Yeah.
And, do you think if back in the day, if you'd have been a bit more nasty about things, you might have, things might have been different?
Yeah, possibly if I'd been a bit tougher with certain situations and stuff. Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
I do look at my brother sometimes. I think, you should have stuck your foot down a bit there with certain things.
What's he doing now, your brother?
And that. He actually owns that cab firm now.
Does he really? There you go. He's done all right for himself.
He's got his finger in a few other pies.
Yeah.
He's done lots since then, though. He opened the aquarium in London.
Okay.
So he had that running for a while.
That's a club, I presume, is it?
It's one of the sort of prominent London clubs from around 2000.
Right.
Oh, no, actually, no. From 95 through to about 2000. I could probably be less laid back.
Yeah.
It probably might have had a few advantages, but that's just me.
Listen, exactly. You've got to be true to yourself as well, haven't you? It's simple as that.
Yeah.
Now, let's go to modern day, because you have a massive event over here, don't you, these days?
Yeah,
tell me about that. I kind of know a little bit about it, but tell me a bit more about it.
Yeah,
Matt.
it's been growing gradually over the last few years.
Slip back in time, isn't it?
Slip back in time.
Yeah.
Which we sort of come up with a name 25 years ago. Yeah. Really. When I was doing nightlife and things like that, we always used to sort of say, we slip it back in time tonight. Yeah. So we sort of use a name for that. We've done parties, quite a few other parties over the years over here, things at Summon. We even did a party at the zoo, actually.
Yeah, I remember.
Massive success.
No, I remember, mate. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I was there, actually.
With Novice.
Novice was there. Yeah, Lee John was there. Yeah, I remember that one, that was a learning curve as well, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. We're just sort of dipping our toe in and seeing what we could do.
So who came up with the concept of Slip Back in Time?
So me, really. It was my thing. I've had a few different partners over the years. Yeah. Farney Stringer was he's still one of my good mates. Yeah. We were doing some bits back in Essex. Yeah. On a fairly regular basis for a while. And then, there was, I think it was Strictly Old School. Yeah. Which started they approached me in 2013. Right. In fact, it was Alex Ellenger. Yeah, put me in touch with them.
Yeah, Alex,
it was like, right, Matt, these people want to do this old school thing. So I got involved with them and then sort of helped them get off the ground, put me in touch with DJs, helped with their lineup, and a bit of a consultancy.
You do it in May, though, don't you? Which is a great time. For me is a great time to do it over here because one, it's not too hot, it's age appropriate. Because you can't. What's your average age? Would you say people coming over to your
gig every year? Probably, realistically, knocking on 50.
Really,
I think now
because there's a big market now for that older clubbing, isn't it? As well. I mean, Clockwork have done it well, and who else is doing it well? A lot of people doing it well. But what differentiates your week from anyone else's?
We keep everyone together. So unlike Clockwork, which is fantastic, obviously. Yeah. We are different in that way that we've got our hotel. Yeah. So
everyone stays in the same hotel, don't they? Yeah.
Everyone's in the same hotel. Yeah. We've got the San Remo and the Cess Daniel, which all they share the same restaurant and everything's all linked. Yeah. So we keep everyone together. That's our sort of little bit of magic sauce that we like. Yeah, that we want to keep hold of. We don't want to split people up. I know of other rave parties in other countries and stuff like that as well, where they'll put people in different hotels. Really.
And how many numbers are you getting on your gigs now on your holiday?
So we're pretty much sold out. We've got 600 in the hotel. Wow, just coming up to 600, which is absolutely,
it's amazing.
Absolutely full up.
And what's the gigs? What's the atmosphere like on the week?
So just quickly going back to the Strictly Old School thing. So So I was sort of helping them out. But I won't go into any details of that. But that sort of pretty much fell apart. Well, we tried to partner with them with what's turned into what we're doing now, and it totally fell apart for whatever reasons. And me and Rachel and Terry and Jackie, who own it now, we put a lot of work into getting it running. So we was like, well, we're not going to just give up. So we turned it into Slip Back in Time in 2019, and then we've been going there ever since from the San Remo. But so we keep everyone together as much as we can. A couple of gigs we'll do two separate rooms if that's the venue. Yeah.
What venues are you using?
So we've got for this year we've got Summon again,
Someone's a great venue for 600 people, isn't it? Wow.
Brilliant.
What a venue that is for 600.
So good. It's
Yeah,
one
yeah.
of my favourites over here.
Yeah, yeah.
Ibiza Rocks Bar, which is the old Bar M.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's
The
huge.
old Bar M, there you go, mate.
Yeah.
I like that, the old Bar M. That's it.
Bar
Yeah,
M.
yeah, yeah.
Es Paradis, of course. Eden, of course. And then Ithaca as well.
Nice, yeah. Nice. Good venue for
Yeah.
600 people on the strip as well. So,
We use the terrace as well,
Yeah.
which is really good. And
Yeah.
we managed to get the sound
Makes sense.
quite good up there,
Yeah,
which is nice, right through till 5 in the morning.
yeah, yeah.
And then we go back to Summon. We've possibly got another venue lined up for this year, but I can't say what that is yet.
Okay, secret. Come on, let's do the big reveal on this one. Come on, mate. Oh, no, I'm only joking.
Yeah.
What's the vibe like in the week?
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing. That is our feedback for the whole event. Is just everyone gets on so nicely together. I think it's because everyone's together and people get to know each other more. Where they're all in the hotel. We get a lot of people come on their own.
Really, yeah.
Females.
No,
as well.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they like certain things and they find they can't do it with
they
you
just
know,
want- yeah,
it's
exactly.
very niche and their
mates
friends
aren't
don't want to
ravers,
do it.
whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And they come over and if it's a friendly, I see that a lot.
It's really nice for us to know that people will trust us, you know. And
And I presume people have come back year after year as well, aren't they?
oh yeah,
Yeah. So you've got your little
we've got lots and lots of very
SLIPMATT.
regulars.
How's your social media following? Is it good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are
to
you
be
active?
fair.
Are you active on social media?
I've got. I'm surprised actually. I think I've just hit 208,000 on my Facebook.
Wow. Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
mad. I've not done the TikTok thing properly yet. Just
Come on, mate. Showing your age there, aren't you?
No, I'm because I go onto it on my phone, and it just shouts at me. And then, so if I look at my own profile and then I come off my profile, it just shouts at me again.
No.
It's like, oh, scared.
I got my then 15-year-old son to show me how to do TikTok because I'm like, listen, I'm not going to be a dinosaur. I need to get onto it. It's great for editing videos. It's very clever. It's very clever, mate. Very clever.
Yeah, so I've actually put it in my 2025 goals.
Yeah, do it, mate.
I've got to up my goals. So I've got really good social media. I've got nearly 50,000 on Instagram and this, that, and the other. So I do need to up my game again.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. That's your 2025 on your wish list there.
I'll do what you said.
I'll
get a youngster in.
Yeah, get one in as well. Yeah. And what's your plans going forward then? What's the objectives apart from slip back in time and whatever? You're going to continue recording music, continue putting it out there.
Yeah. Funny enough, actually, I'm working with. So when we was doing the SL2 thing, we had two dancers, Joe and Kelly. Kelly in 1993, when we slowed down with the XL thing, she went off and she was lead singer for Capella.
Right. Okay. Wow.
And she had a huge couple of years, 93, 94.
They were massive,
Capella,
weren't they?
they were everywhere. Yeah, bigger than SL2.
It was Europop. Was it Europop?
Yeah.
It was Europop.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah.
Capella. Yeah.
So she did that, and then she gave up with them. I don't know if she fell out of them or whatever, but they
Standard.
They
Standard.
split. Yeah,
Standard
usual,
business. Yeah.
usual stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she went and worked for Kiss,
Right.
for the radio and stuff, and forged out a really good career with them for 20 years.
Yeah. Wow.
She's done really, really well for herself. And we hooked up again last year.
Okay.
And she's now doing a comeback as Kelly O from Capella.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've actually done one tune with her.
Right. Wow.
We did a version of "Take Me Away."
Yeah.
The old pin up.
Yeah. How can you get this? Is it on?
True
Is it on
fake
your? How can we access
Be
that?
on my SoundCloud.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, you find
I'll
it on
put the link.
SoundCloud.
I'll put the link on the podcast, mate. Yeah.
And we're just working on another couple of tracks at the moment.
You still enjoying it, mate?
Yeah,
Yeah. You still get the buzz.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Still got my studio at home.
Yeah.
Which I always have.
Have you got a view like this at your studio?
No, I haven't got any windows in it. Actually. That's lovely, isn't it?
It's a nice view, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, so
It's a beta for you.
Lots and lots of music. Again, 20 goals for 2025 are to make more music.
Right.
That's one.
Do you have to push yourself to do it these days, mate?
Yeah, it's only
You're in the comfort zone
not for the
with your lovely wife and everything. You're in the comfort zone, aren't you?
It's not motivation. It's Rachel's lovely. Yeah,
Yeah.
Just get that in.
Yeah, no, go have to put the missus in here. Hello, Rachel.
No, it's not motivation. It's just time.
Yeah.
I've got
Okay.
so much to do, and on the airplane on the way over, I was going through me on my laptop, sort of writing stuff
what you
down
need
that I've
to
got
do,
to do, and the list is just so much opportunity to do stuff.
Here's a question.
It's just a matter of picking out the right things. You know?
Yeah. Well, you got to prioritise, haven't you? Got to prioritise. Here's a question, mate. And I asked this. Paul Reynolds was on my podcast a few weeks ago, which you know Paul, don't you? Obviously, one of the Ibiza's finest DJs these days. What would you recommend to all these young DJs coming through? Because you've had a great career, haven't you? You've had 30 odd years of being a top line DJ. What would you say to these young kids coming through? What would your tips be?
I think make sure you're doing the right thing. Make sure your heart's in it. You've got to be dedicated. You know, it can look like from the outside. It can look like, you know, it's one of the old sayings. Bloody easy life, DJ.
Yeah.
You know, it's really not. It's really not. It's a lot of hours, a lot of work. Can be stressful, but yeah, make sure it's really what you want to do. And you've got to be dedicated to doing it. You know, get ready to put in a lot of time,
shift, a
lot of effort, a lot of travelling. Travelling's another big one.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's partly why John Lime probably didn't carry on with the DJing thing, and a lot of people that I've known.
Well,
from
it's a different country
90s.
every day, isn't it? Really, if you're top of the tree.
Yeah, if you're top of the tree,
Yeah.
But you know, even if you're just DJing around the UK, which is mainly what I do these days. It's a lot of driving.
Are you doing the big festival? Are you doing the big festivals?
Down the motorways, yeah.
You're back. I just saw
Glasgow, Boomtown,
I saw that.
yeah.
Glasgow as well. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, still hanging in there. I'm 57, still hanging in there.
Hanging on, mate.
But I do put a lot into it. I put a lot of hours. I'll probably do at least 70 or 80 hours a week working.
If you look back on your last 30 years, what was the high point?
92 was a high point, but that was early days as well. I mean, the last few years have been good to me. We've had some really good licensing over the last few years. With the old tracks, on a Ragga Tip and Whammer Brain. Facebook took a worldwide advert with Whammer Brain. On a Ragga Tip's been on Virgin Media ads, McDonald's, First Bank. What was the other? Betfair. Took it about for 3 different ads. It's been good. Been really, really good. I've just had just been asked to put my track Breaking Free on a film as well, which is really nice.
Can you tell me which film or?
It's a film called Steve. I don't know much about it. It's just a Netflix film.
Okay,
but it's nice.
You never know, mate.
Real underground track.
You never know, do you?
They found that to put on there.
Yeah.
Wow. I did 2013 into 2014. I played the O2 with Prodigy, which was nice to think all those years after. You know, gonna sort of
the XL boys came back together.
They came back, It was actually one of my old agents, Solomon Parker. I think he still looks after the Prodigy. But he was putting us out for PAs back in the day, and he was like, "Oh right, okay."
Yeah, put it together.
So they did the show, 20,000 people, and then I come on basically about 30 seconds after they put the curtain down, wheeled me in front, and then I played to the crowd.
Was it
Massive
a buzz?
Yeah, massive. So that was a high point. Yeah, there's been loads of good stuff.
Fantastic, Matthew.
Loads of good stuff.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for taking
Thank
the
you very
time.
much.
Yeah, no, listen, great, mate. Listen, good luck with Slip Back in Time.
Thank you. Yeah. Like I say, we almost sold out. We get. I think last year we had 1,500 people in Eden.
Yeah, nice.
Probably about the same in Esperance. Maybe a few more in Esperance actually. So
I'll put a link on the podcast as well. Yeah.
So it's not
just
like,
people. Yeah.
Even though the hotels are full up. Yeah. It's going to be a big week. In town.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with it, mate.
Thank you very much.
I will pop by for a beer in probably in Bar M actually. There you go, Bar M. Ibiza Rocks Bar for anyone who's under the age of 25. Listen, thanks a lot for coming to speak to me and telling me about your amazing career.
Thank you, mate.
Congratulations and long may it continue.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, mate. Hope you enjoyed that. Really enjoyed hearing especially about his early journey from around Loughton, the rave scene, and how he got into music and how that propelled him to fame and how he came over to Ibiza. So really enjoyed speaking to Matt today. As I said, what a nice guy, and look forward to catching up with him on his week Slip Back in Time, which is his holiday week here in Ibiza. Anyway, that's enough for today. Thanks for listening, and I'll speak to you all very, very soon. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Man in Sanan podcast with Martin Makepeace, #1 for news and views from Ibiza.